Representative VanDeaver, last session you voted no on the school vouchers, education savings accounts, but you said you were open to a discussion with them. Can you explain to us what is your stance on this issue?
You know, again, I'm always open to discussion. That's how we get things done in the legislature. But given my background and just my experience with public education, I just have a philosophical issue with many of the ideas behind a school voucher program. And so, I really haven't changed my position on school vouchers, but certainly, I'm always willing to have those discussions and try to do the best thing we can for Texas, certainly for Texas school children.
Well, I want to get into some of those issues that you have with school vouchers. Let's talk about, I think last year you had said private schools that took voucher money couldn't select students. They had to choose those or bring those students into their school if those students had state vouchers. Do you still feel that way? Is that one issue that you think needs to be, in this new law coming up?
Yes. Short answer is yes. I believe we need to do everything we can to to create a level playing field with whoever is getting state funding for it with education dollars, whether it be private schools, charter schools, homeschools, public schools, whoever. We just need to create a level playing field and not create winners and losers. And to me, a school's ability to hand select students who they choose to educate creates a very unlevel playing field. And so, I certainly want to do everything we can to eliminate any kind of unlevel playing field or system that creates winners and losers.
What are your constituents saying in your district about their concerns with school vouchers?
Yeah, my constituents that are actually reaching out to me and sharing an opinion on the subject are pretty much overwhelmingly opposed to school vouchers. Again, most of their opinions come from the importance of the local school to this local community. I serve over 30 school districts, and they are pretty much all small rural districts. And in those districts, the school is the center of the community. If those communities lose their schools, they lose their communities in many cases. So, again, certainly we want to look at what it does, what the bill does, and I know we've been told that certain proposals will not affect funding of public schools. And if that's the case, then certainly that is great. I appreciate that. But I think we need to be careful that we're not just looking at today, but we're looking to the future implications of this bill. And 5 years, 10 years down the road, does this program grow as it has in other states, so that it does become overbearing to the state budget? Does Texas still enjoy the robust economy 5 years, 10 years down the road that we enjoy today? So there's just a lot of unanswered questions, I think, around that.
Okay. You have said here that your position has not changed on school vouchers. You faced a very tough primary this year from your opponent, went to a runoff election, an opponent that was backed by Governor Greg Abbott. Does that change any kind of technique in how you approach this in the upcoming session?
I would say not really, although let me be very, very clear. I welcome the opportunity to have discussions with the governor and his staff on this subject. I know this is a subject, an issue that is highly important to the governor, and certainly I want to work with the governor on this and every other issue. I've always considered the governor, to be a partner, and I've considered myself a partner of the governor's in all the things we've done to make Texas what it is today. But Texas is a big state, and I have to believe there's room in this state for at least two different opinions on an issue like school vouchers. And so, I believe there's room for differing opinions. That doesn't mean that just because we don't agree that we have to be enemies. Again, I look forward to working with my colleagues in the House, with colleagues in the Senate, and certainly the governor's office to craft a bill, which, by the way, we have not seen at this point, but to craft a bill that is good for the state of Texas and certainly good for the school children of Texas.
That's important to note. We have not seen what this bill will look like, but the governor has said that he has the votes to get this done this session. I'm curious, do you think that's true? And do you think that you'll still be able to find some kind of compromise where everyone, all 150 members in the House of Representatives, can at least come out of this feeling like they got something out of this?
You know, I don't know whether the votes are there or not. The governor says he has the votes, and I trust that he has done the math, and the votes are there. But again, having not seen the bill, it's really hard to count votes when you don't know what those votes are voting for. And so, I would certainly, personally, I would withhold any judgment on where people's going to vote, where people's going to land on this thing until we at least see the bill. Mm-hmm. And then even once we see the bill, we know this bill as filed will not be the bill that ultimately is voted on the House floor. And so, there'll be many amendments to the bill, tweaks and changes along the way. So, I think the vote is going to be very close either way. But, I don't know where the votes land. But I will say, as long as we are breathing, there is room for compromise in my mind. And so I do believe there is an opportunity. I don't know whether we can get all 150 House members together behind a bill, but in Texas it only takes 76. And so but I do believe that there is an opportunity for most, if not all, to come away thinking, well, this is a better bill than what I feared it might be, or what I had heard it could have been, or what it might have been last session.
Okay, Representative VanDeaver, thank you so much. That's all the questions I have. I appreciate you coming on and speaking with us.